Elagabalus, or Elagabalus, depending on who you talk to, commonly regarded as one of the worst Roman emperors there ever was. Edward Gibbon said that they abandoned themselves to the grossest pleasures with ungoverned fury. Others said that they led a completely disgusting life. Adrian Goldsworthy said that no, Elagabalus wasn't a tyrant, they were just incompetent. Although, considering in 218, when they succeeded Macrinus as Roman Emperor, they were 14. Think about that for a second. 14 years old, and you become Roman Emperor. Could you govern the Roman Empire at 14 years old? I couldn't. And would you really trust a 14-year-old in charge of the Roman Empire? No. So what did they do that was so bad? What did they do to be branded the worst of the worst Roman emperors? And some Roman emperors, Nero, Caligula, they did some pretty terrible things. Pranks. Youthful, teenage, terrible pranks. Setting tame wild animals on people to scare them. Especially while they were sleeping and having dinner. Feeding people wax fruit and pretending it was real. Childish, over the top, not funny pranks. The sort of shit that a teenager, given too much power, would do. Allegedly, although this probably isn't true, Elagabalus also once smothered some of his dinner guests in rose petals. Again, another prank. But there are Roman emperors who did so much worse than that. There are Roman emperors who literally burned people alive. Nero killed his own wife, killed his own mother. Several times. So why is Elagabalus up there with the worst of them? According to the Roman historian Cassius Dio and others, Elagabalus may have been transgender. They allegedly liked to dress up as a woman. Their mother referred to them as their daughter. They referred to themselves as empress, as she. Although they did marry a few women, one of them a couple of times, there is also allegations that they had a husband, a gladiator called Heracles. It's close to Hercules, but Heracles. It's not Heracles. Hierocles. And they referred to Hierocles as their husband. They actually had a wedding ceremony at one point. That's probably the first gay marriage in history, or one of the first. And, towards the end of their life, allegedly, they sought out transgender surgery. They sought to transition, and Elagabalus said that they would pay any amount of money for any surgeon, any doctor who could do this. Cassius Dio may have been making this up. He may have been attempting to slander Elagabalus, may have been attempting to use the idea of them being transgender to demonise them. Either way you look at it, true or not, if Elagabalus was trans, it's transphobia. If Cassius Dio is using the idea of them being transgender to demonise them, again, it's transphobia. Now, I've seen arguments on the internet that, oh no, Elagabalus wasn't transgender. The Romans didn't have such a concept, it can't have been true. You can't call them transgender. That's missing the point, I think. That's... Just because the Romans didn't have a word for the concept, just because they didn't see it in the same way we do, doesn't mean that Elagabalus wasn't transgender by modern standards, or even Roman standards. They still defied, allegedly, Roman gender norms. It's this reason, this idea of Elagabalus being transgender, or what we would today consider as being transgender. This is the main reason they've been demonised throughout history. It's not the pranks, it's not setting tame lions on people. It's this transphobia. Which, we don't know if Cassius Dio was making it up or not, but either way, it's transphobia. And I think that's a shame, because this is a tragedy. This is a kid who was 14, propelled to the height of power, who was made Roman Emperor at 14. A stupid idea, because would you trust a teenager as Roman Emperor? No. And maybe they were struggling with their sexuality as well. According to Cassius Dio, it sounds like they were. And for that, for 2,000 years, they've been demonised. So, maybe it's time for a reassessment on Elagabalus. Maybe it's time we stopped saying they are the worst Roman Emperor. And maybe we look at the situation with a little bit more nuance.